Hello everyone, welcome to Bloomsburg football analytics opportunities that we can use to invest in our program and better the outcome of our athletes in sports. So today we're going to be talking about two companies, Catapult Sports and Quick Cut. Catapult is more of a athlete analytics company. They're more invested on what a specific athlete is doing and what we can do to get the most out of one athlete. And then Quick Cut is more of a film analytics company where they are going to upload your film, able to see what's happening. You're going to label it, things like that. You're going to be able to get some reports back that are going to be able to help you diagnose what's happening on the field quicker. And then there's also some player profiles that are really neat concepts that most companies don't follow. So what exactly is Catapult? They're an athlete performance enhanced company founded in 2006, just after the Sydney Olympics. During and before the Sydney Olympics, they were creating these devices, like you see at the bottom right there, and they were trying to figure out what makes the athlete better. How do we track this? How can we say, okay, this athlete's having a good day, not so good, or maybe somewhere in between? And how can we make them perform their best when it's time for the Olympics? So that really made them take off. And as you can tell, their goal is to address the fundamental sports questions of athletes. So in football, they're looking to figure out how a player accelerates, decelerates, in and out of routes, and see where they are. That device also is a GPS locator, so you can really see it on the field. They also have some different video type software as well, where you can visualize and see what a player is doing and when and where they're doing it. So it really adds a 3D or 4D layer on top of the information you already have from their wearable devices. And then their technology is a stat tracking, and their technology and stat tracking is used with 2,970 teams in 29 sports overall. That is from high school, college, professional, inside and outside the U.S. It's not just specifically for football, not just specifically for college athlete. They're used all across the world, and they really get a great message going across to everybody. So what products would we invest in as Bloomsburg University football? I would suggest we go to Player Tech. What they are, you have that vest, and then on the back of the vest there's a little pocket, and you're able to slip that device in. The Player Tech is going to track your heartbeat, speed, acceleration, deceleration. It also has a GPS locator in it. It's going to be able to see on a field. So if you upload the data, you can see the flat data where they're running a route. You can see how they're running a route, where exactly they are. You can work on the placement of the routes, and you're able to see a lot of what a player is doing. Now, what you also have to think about is how many people would have these, and how would we manage the data. Managing the data, we would have an athlete database management system, kind of like the ARM system we use to keep track of everyone. It keeps track of everyone in a similar fashion. All the devices load the data via Bluetooth, so all they have to do is be within the same realm, same room, and we're able to see, this certain player's heartbeat, this is where they're accelerating, decelerating, within this certain time period. And then they all go back on chargers at the end of the practice or at the end of the day, however you're looking to do it. You can make charts, and you can compare athletes by sport. You can also kind of see, there's no good picture of this without buying the software, but you can kind of see in this screenshot, you're able to see the data on a few players. I think there's 4 to 6 there in different categories, and then they made some data charts there labeling what's going on by them. So who would manage this? Obviously, there's the football coaches. There's a little bit outside of their realm. So who Catapult would be managed by would be the trainers and the strength coach, Coach Andrew and Serena George, because what they'd be doing is they were looking at the heartbeats, acceleration, deceleration. Because a lot of this, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what workouts will be best for them, how can we get the most out of them, and how can we prevent injuries. So if we're looking how someone got an ankle injury. Maybe you can see the acceleration, deceleration, see exactly what they're doing and how their body's reacting, and be able to channel it and use it to strengthen the certain parts of their body to make sure that they're able to go on game day and they're able to see the field, not the training room. So when I say the strength coach, trainers, a lot of the time they're already busy. You got 21 varsity sports here at Bloomsburg, so there'd probably be a GA, whether it's athletic training or analytic IT GA type deal. They would most likely have to manage this system because it is a lot. Whether it's just we get it for football, because if you're looking for football, you're looking about 105 guys, and then if you expand out upon that, we could go to many athletes. So you either looking at a GA, part-time, or full-time help to just manage the workload within using Catapult Sports. So the per year cost of the database is $179. So that picture of that database you saw on the last screen, it's $179 per year. And then you also have to kind of add in that additional cost of employee, whether it's a GA or part-time. That estimates for a GA or a part-time employee. And then the full-time would probably be a lot more expensive. You have benefits and things like that. But per device, it'd be 80 player tech devices. So we're looking at the initial purchase covering about all the returning players, maybe some of the freshman players if we could get them on of our roster, 105 people. The wearable kits, so the vest that we're showing the picture, and then the player tech devices are only $34. And so you're talking about nearly $3,000, $2,720 for just the kits. And then you have the additional help. So you're talking about anywhere from $12,000 to $18,000 really when it comes down to it. And it's all really an investment into our athletes more than it is to ourselves, because if we're able to get our athletes to game day, you have better players on the field, and you're able to win games, and making it a more positive experience for the athletes. Now going on to Quick Cut, you're able to sort, share, and analyze film. It's a lot like Huddle, like what we use now, but this is the fastest growing film database for athletic sports because it's their player grading system. What this player grading system is, it's unlike any other platform. There is no grading system. A lot of the time, only the players have a profile. They have a profile, they have their position, grad year, email, things like that, and they do not have the ability to have a grading system given to them. So as you can kind of see on this picture a little bit, there is a phone. That is their grading system. The bigger screen is their like home base type deal, but the smaller phone is their grading scale. They're kind of divvied up by playlist, so it'd be like the section of practice you're in, and the coaches are able to give feedback on that particular section of or period of practice, so that you're able to get a lot of information out and maybe not a lot of time with meetings and things like that. So then you also attach it to their profile. So you're able to go back in their profile and say, hey, player X on play 5 did this in practice. Hey, I want to go click back to that piece of film so I can see what they're good at and see how well they're doing at practice. Any coach can see it. So as a positional coach, you're able to put up that grade or put up that comment towards a player, and then coordinator can see it, head coach can see it, and then really it also helps the athlete develop. They're able to see if you put a note, hey, their split's not wide enough. You need to get upfield on this certain play. You can go right at that play. All right, yeah, I agree. I can see that. It allows the players to much able to keep on going with it. You also do group messaging and Zoom calls. So a lot of times on Zoom, when you share your screen, sometimes it lags, and this really creates a more interesting environment where you're able to do a Zoom call through Quick Cuts, and you're able to share film, and it won't lag because it's within the same website system. So it makes it very convenient for a lot of different purposes there. And you're able to check the learning of the playbook. You're able to quiz players. So you have the playbook in Quick Cuts, and then you're able to have install one, and then you're able to put a quiz in between install 1 and 2, so you can check the learning of the playbook and say, hey, you really need to go back and study install 1 again. And so force them back, and then it'll make them all good. So some of the problems with the transition to quick cuts for Bloomsburg is the current refiling of current film, because on Huddle we have nearly 190 hours of film, and so that process would be conducted with downloading Huddle film to our laptops or to a desktop, and then you have to re-upload them and refile them onto Quick Cuts with the data. So it really could be time consuming depending on how much data you have, how much hours, and the strength of the internet, because it could really slow things down a little bit. So it might be a week, 2-week process, possibly even more. No longer than a month, I'd imagine. But if everyone's working on it, it'd probably be about a week, week and a half. The conference uses the Huddle as their pull source. So when I say pull source, it's all the games are uploaded to a quote-unquote pool or cloud type deal, and you're able to pull off the current games from the current season, and then you're able to keep loading. And then one of the nice things on the positive side about transitioning is you're able to incrementally increase the storage for just a small cost. So right now we're capped at 200 hours for Huddle, and like I said, currently it's about 193. So you're really coming up close. You have to delete some film. So if you're able to increase the film storage amount, you don't have to delete so much throughout the current year. So where will we go? In 1 year, I expect if we would go to Catapult Sports, that we have a baseline data for all the football players. So we only have 80 devices, so maybe we have that returning data on those 80 players, and it really creates a baseline. Where do we want to go with our athletes now that we have an entire year of data on them? What workouts will work best for them? How can we prevent injuries and things like that? And with 3 years, every player on our team would have a player tech wearable device, and then we also invest in the video tracking. So during practices and during the offseason, we can really focus in on what makes a player special and how can we get the most out of them and how can we have the best player development. And then 2 years later, expand out into other sports here at Bloomsburg, because once we have a good fundamental base built with 105 football players, I think it'd be great to expand our devices so we could go out to other sports. And then in 10 years, all 23 varsity sports here at Bloomsburg University would be utilizing Catapult Sports devices. And then 1 year from Quick Cut, all transition film would be over, and then player grading systems implemented and being used constantly, because it will give players more feedback as we go. And in 5 years, the entire playbook and test system would be up. That does take some time, with transitioning schemes and over and everything. And then in 10 years, the ability to store decades worth of games with the incremental storage updates. You can contact me for more information. I'm here at Bloomsburg University, Assistant Defensive Back Coach. My number is listed. Email and Twitter also there. Feel free to reach out to me. And then thank you guys for all coming.